Hello, so I'm here at the JSAA, the Japanese Studies Association of Australia Conference 2025 with Dr. Michelle Ho of National University of Singapore. And I attended her book launch for Emergent Genders, which is a new book coming out. And it was really, really interesting. So just kind of wanted to chat about it a little bit. Hello, thank you for being here.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having
No
me.
problem. So this book is, of course, an investigation that you spent at various locations throughout Tokyo involving Joso and Danso bars, right? Can you just tell us about kind of how this entire project started?
Yeah, so I think it started on YouTube. I watched a video and I decided I'm going to write a conference paper on it. And then from there, it just snowballed into a project.
And you mentioned like when you first went to these places, because you spent time in these locations, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I spent a couple of nights every week in both of these cafe and bars, and I talked to people, I drank with people, and hung out with them.
Mm.
Yeah, basically.
How'd they first like respond to you kind of coming in as a researcher as well as someone who's not a member of these kind of communities?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a foreigner. I'm not Japanese. So, I think the first month, nobody talked to me. I just sat in the corner of the room and I was a fly on the wall, which is perfect for observing,
Mm.
but not so good for interviews,
Right.
right? Because I was not getting any.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How what was the first kind of like in that you had where people started kind of opening up to you and being willing to talk about their experiences?
Yeah, I think it was interesting because they realized that look, this strange person is coming in all the time, and like we don't know who this person
Mm.
is. And then they started to talk to me, and I started to talk to them. And once they get to know you, then I think it sort of opened up. But I think another thing that happened was that because I maybe can pass as Japanese without opening my mouth, so
Sure.
I felt maybe that's why I'm like sort of like kage usui, they're like
Mm.
just hiding in the corner.
Mhm.
And so one thing I did was I dyed my hair blonde. And then that started to get people talking to me because they're like, what happened to your hair? Like it looks good. And like, are you not working? Because you
Mm.
look like a homeless person or something. Yeah.
I've never considered that strategy of dyeing my hair to get people to talk to me. I mean, that's
Yeah.
an interesting. That's very, very clever. Okay. And can you give obviously a lot of people haven't been to these kinds of locations,
Yeah.
and you mentioned in your presentation that they do serve food and drinks, but they're often a bit pricey, and people are mainly there to kind of drink and talk. What's like the general vibe of these areas?
I think it's more a place you get a drink, so
Hmm.
less to get a food, like get food. I mean, you can, but it's going to be pricey, like three times, izakaya or something
Hmm.
like that, which makes no sense. So it could be you can, sort of pick up some, you can eat food and then go there, stop by on your way home or something, and then just get a drink. It's like pretty much like a bar, except
Hmm.
that the employees are cross-dressing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that like the clientele, there were obviously some people that were engaging with Western terms like transgender, but also there were Japanese terms you mentioned like chusei, et cetera. And then also people that were straight and occasionally even like foreigners that would come in. What
Yeah.
was like the general interactions between the people that were there? Was everybody just kind of engaging? Were there different people coming for different, like, how did you find the purpose of attending these kind of spaces?
Oh, very different. So
Hmm.
different people had different purposes, and it was just like, it's like whatever they wanted from the place, they got it.
Whatever
Um,
they wanted from the place.
yeah.
It
So some people
all
wanted
fantasies.
to obviously talk to the
Uh-huh.
employees. They were like, the oshi or something like that. They wanted to talk to the employees, but other people they just want to hang out with, be around people, and it being a safe
Mhm.
space. So that was important to a lot of people.
Are there any particular clientele stories that really stand out that you think made it into the book?
Yeah, I think one of them was believe he identified as cis heterosexual, but he was interested in practicing Joseon.
Mhm.
And then the first time I met him, I didn't know it was the first time. And then I was seated because sometimes they just seat you next to people randomly and then just get you to talk to strangers and things like that. So that was kind of fun. So I ended up sitting next to this person who was in Joseon, and then he started to tell me his life story. And the funny thing, he was like, "Oh, this is my first time here in Joseon,
Mhm.
and this is my wife's dress." And I was like, "Oh." And he traveled
Mhm.
out of his hometown to come to Tokyo just to be in this bar because he heard a
Right.
lot of good things about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it became like a space to experiment with this part of himself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And then eventually I got to see him again, and then I interviewed him, and then he was just dressed as an ordinary man.
Mhm.
And I said, "What happened?" And he said, "Oh, my wife found out." I was like, "Oh no." Then what was going on? And then he said, oh, she found like the socks that I was wearing in the laundry. And then she was like, oh, are you cheating on me? And then he had to confess to practicing Joseon, which apparently was worse than cheating on
Oh, really?
her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then after that he was banned. So
Oh, so that didn't really have the kind of
yeah,
happy
but he
ending.
said, it's okay. I can vicariously live through these Joseon employees. I can come
And talk to them.
and be in the bar. I just cannot practice it
Right.
myself.
It's interesting because there's even I'm not sure if you saw it the show Futekisetsu ni Mohoro ga Aru that was very popular quite recently. They had a character in that, a principal who does
Yeah.
Joso, it turns out, and that becomes a big scandal because it's set in like the 1980s.
Oh.
But the ultimate conclusion of that is that he just like all the parents come and say you need to quit your job or quit
Yeah.
Joso, and he goes,
Oh God.
oh well, I'll just quit my job then. And so that's kind of a different
Correct. Yeah.
portrayal of that. But that
Yeah.
obviously the spaces can still have some kind of difficulty in embracing these identities that people are having.
I think it's still, the stigma is still there, especially for this contemporary couple. And I did ask him, like, do you regret it? And then he said, well, I made the decision because it was either to divorce or to not divorce. And like,
Right.
yeah. And then he said, I love this woman, so I want to stay married to her.
But he was still allowed to attend the venue.
Yeah, he can still go, but not dressed in
Interesting.
Joseon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like broadly speaking, then we take all these stories you have of these people that are both working at and attending these venues. What do you think is like the main point? What is like the biggest finding that you found in exploring this rather unexplored space and these rather unexplored identities and individuals?
I would say it's a space that is different from the gay and lesbian neighborhood in Tokyo, which is Shinjuku Nichome.
Sure.
And so I think that was my number one question, that why in Akihabara, which is a hub for popular culture, anime, manga, games, are these spaces here? And why are they so popular with people? And then from there, I went to see, like, sort of try to find out, like, are there like other, I guess, subjectivities or identities that are outside of or maybe excluded from Shinjuku Nichome, and maybe they're here. And so that was maybe, I think, one of the compelling things about the findings.
Interesting, because of course Nichome has always been presented as kind of a emancipatory space in a way, but not for the people here in a way. Like they have to go. It's a different space that they have to go to, right?
Yeah, in a way, you can say they're outside of the Nichome space, and they're not included in the Nichome community, and that's why they built their own community in Akihabara. Which I also argue it's has immense potentials because of the intersections with popular culture.
Sure.
So a lot of the employees and the customers at these cafe and bars, they're also fans. They're otaku.
So there's an otaku vibe to a lot of this.
Yeah. Okay. So they are otaku and they are engaging in Joso Danso.
Well, wonderful.
Which I found that's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. So the book's come out, Duke Press, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It's published by Duke.
Duke, and it comes out. Is it my copy's in the mail, so it is out. You can order it now.
It is out. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for chatting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.